guys, today I'm going to talk about the next steps on the Stella project. So on the last video, I showed you how to do the focal point, whether that was a symmetrical artwork that was your focal point or an asymmetrical, meaning it's not the same on both sides. Remember to get permission before you move on so that we can make sure that you are on the right track on your project and you don't become extremely frustrated. So once your focal point is approved, the next step is to work on the rest of the project and getting the line or designs down using a compass or a protractor or a ruler. Remember, you have to make your lines with a tool. You cannot free draw. So what I'd like to point out and I'd like to tell people is we talked about the color briefly, where you'd have to have 3 boxes that have, let's say, analogous colors, and 3 boxes that have complementary colors. Some people have decided to make their designs, so their line designs, not color, line designs similar in those boxes that are a similar color. So I have in my asymmetrical artwork 3 boxes that are the same. They're similar. This is turned differently. That's fine. They don't have to be exactly the same. And then I have this design here, which is relatively simple. I probably want something a little more complicated now looking at it. But I have these 3 boxes here that are also the same design. Now, once I have that done, I have these boxes here that are kind of like stripes, and they're not all the same. So it's not a basic requirement, but I would consider doing that if I was you to make your artwork look better. So let's say I am doing a symmetrical project, which means it's the same on both sides, and I'm ready to start. So if I was going to take my protractor and do a little bit more work, I can start anywhere on the page. And remember, I don't really have a plan with this. So let's say I was going to do this side, and I have like an arc. And remember, it's a mirror image. So I have to make sure that I'm getting that same arc, but it's mirror image on the other side. Okay, this is the part people usually mess up on because you really have to start thinking okay, how would this look as a mirror image? So I maybe do a little bit of designs with my ruler. And then this would cover, for a symmetrical design, once I get this done, 1 set of boxes. Now, if I wanted to, I could also make, let's say, this part go with it if I wanted, or I could make let's say the 4 corners match. There are people that like to make their corners match if they're doing a symmetrical project. You can do that. You don't have to do that, but I'm just showing you and trying to tell you different people's preferences that I've learned over the years. So I'm actually going to make all the corners. Now your project does not have to be symmetrical this way. So the line of symmetry is going to be here on the paper. It does not have to be symmetrical this way and this way. No. All right, so I'm adding in a few designs. Maybe I'll add in another arc. You can also use the compass in this way where you hold the little brass piece. And then you should usually count 1, 2, 3, 4 and I'm making sort of an arc. So then that way, since I counted it, and if I put it on the other side and I count over 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and I know it's going to be exactly the same, because if you don't remember what you did, it's going to be really hard to figure it out. The other thing is if I didn't mention it in another video, you're not making this project look like anything. It is non-representational art, meaning it is about color, it is about line, it's about shape, it's about composition, but it is not about what is it, okay? It's not a frog, it's not supposed to be a face, it's not supposed to be whatever. It's supposed to be non-representational. So then I would continue to finish these boxes with whatever design that I felt like I needed. And then once I am 100% done, I'm going to check with my teacher, whether that means emailing my teacher, showing in class, however that works, you need to do that. Then you're going to go through and you're going to Sharpie all of your lines. So once it's been approved, you're going to Sharpie all your lines. So start with the grid. And notice in my boxes, I've really contained the design into each box. They're almost separated. Use my ruler, get all the grid lines, and then when I'm done with sharpieing the grid lines, I'm going to start on the rest. Now, if you used a protractor, I will let you use the protractor when you Sharpie. So for example, I could put this protractor back on the paper, use a Sharpie, and that's fine. You can't use a Sharpie with the compass. And I say that not because I care really if there's a little Sharpie on it, but because this fine point tip, it doesn't fit in the spaces that I was using, okay? So if I did the circle here, I'm gonna have to free draw that as carefully as I can because I used a compass. So anything that you used a compass for, so like I used a compass for this, I'm gonna have to freehand that. But anything that you used a protractor for, or a ruler, you need to use that. If you do this whole thing without using a protractor or a ruler, it's going to look terrible. And I'm probably going to want you to redo it because the quality is going to be so bad. Remember, craftsmanship is very important in artwork. All right, let's pretend I had all that done, and then I would move to the next step. Thanks.